Just record and start.
Wait.
Can you record this right now?
Okay. So here we are with our little brother, Moni, and we have asked him to come and discuss with us what it is like to be a U.S. citizen. So, when did you become a U.S. citizen?
I became a U.S. citizen August 10th of 2021.
Okay, so that's like what, almost 3 years ago.
Almost 3 years ago.
So did you vote in the 2022 election?
I
think
I did. I
Yeah.
think I did.
Yeah.
What was in 2022?
It was midterms.
Oh.
Yeah, I did vote in that. So
how long did it take for you to become a citizen, a U.S. citizen?
Well, I am 42 now. When we moved here to the U.S. from Tonga, I was about the age of 4.
Wow.
And that was in 1986. And since then, so me and my sister Te Anu were the only 2 children that were not citizens of the U.S., including our parents. So that journey took us all that time from 1986 up until, for me, it was 2021 that I was able to get my citizenship.
So how many years has that been?
That's been a lot of years. I think about it.
So you were 4.
Yeah, I was 4 at the time.
And you were how old when you got it? 40?
42.
42. The answer is 42.
Well, not 42 because I got my citizenship in 2021.
So you're 40?
So it's about 30, probably about 40, 39, 40. Yeah.
So why did you decide to become, before you answer that, why did it take you so long to become a U.S. citizen?
First part of that was just because our family was trying to do things the right way.
What do you mean by the right way? What's the right way?
I guess passing through the what the government had set up for us to be able to get our citizenship. We had to have a passageway to citizenship, and we didn't have that when we first came here. And so the reason why it probably took so long was because of that. We needed our older sister, to become age of 21 for her to...
Oh, 21, not 18 or 19?
Yeah. Was it 21 or is it 18 when Leah...
Oh, I was 19 when I got married, so...
Yeah. But we didn't get our citizenship for mom and dad until... They didn't get theirs until, like, later on in the 2000s. So it had to be about 21. So that was part of the biggest reason why it took so long for us to do that. And then the other part was just that I didn't know if I wanted to have U.S. citizenship because there wasn't really...
Why?
Anything. Because I just didn't really care as much about the U.S. as much. I didn't feel like there was a real connection for me here for a while.
What brought that on?
Maybe just like not knowing, because, you know, being transplanted from the islands and not knowing who we really are, and being, you know, up in a place where we weren't surrounded by too many Polynesians and Pacific Islanders. There was a sense of identity that was kind of lost a little bit. So it was just, am I supposed to be here? Or am I supposed to be back home in the islands? And so that didn't really like give me any drive to do that. So I guess I'm a little bit more complacent when it comes to those kinds of things. When it's just like, oh, it's just citizenship. I can get my green card, which I did.
And just renewed.
Like, when did you get your green card?
I got it just before my mission, I believe. So I think I was like 19 or
Or 18.
18 or 19 or something
Mm.
like that. And then, and then I had to get it renewed. I think it was like every 5 or 10 years. I can't really remember. So I did that, and it cost every single time to do that. But
What was the cost for that?
I think it was like
I think it's like $400.
$400, $500 each time.
That's crazy.
So you were, I just want to ask, you said that you had some kind of sense of lack of identity. Do you think you ever found that?
I think I found that on my own, because it's not something that like for me, I don't want people to define my identity for me. Like, I think that is very important for me to...
What do you mean by that? You don't want people to identify it for
like,
you?
this is who you are, this is who you're supposed to be. Like, this is what is being Polynesian or being Pacific Islander or being whatever. Like, I didn't want that to be my case. And so I found that just by, being able to understand more about myself and also my family and
your own journey.
And my own journey, yeah.
I respect that. Good for you.
So you became a citizen, and so what made you decide to apply for naturalization?
Well, the first thing I was always wanting to do it. I just take my time, because that's just how I am, as I mentioned before, being complacent, taking my time on those kinds of things. But
is it being? I mean, like, were you really taking your time, or were you were you being calculating? Were you calculating the situation?
I don't calculate anything.
You don't weigh the pros and cons.
Where were you born?
Yeah, where were you born?
I was born in Tonga, in the Viola Hospital in Nuku'alofa, amongst many other people that have been born there.
And you were born during?
I was born during the hurricane that hit in 1982, Hurricane Isaac. And it was one of Tonga's bigger hurricanes at the time. And I was supposed to be named after that hurricane, but my parents didn't want to name me after that, so they gave it to my younger brother instead. That name for Isaac.
Of all the things, like, we really want to remember that your older brother was born during a hurricane.
So, I remember, so I got my citizenship before Moni did, and after me getting my citizenship, he was the last one in our family to not have his citizenship, and I know, at least for me, I really wanted him to have that, because there's just so much uncertainty with immigration in our country today. And in fact, Moni and I went back home to New Zealand in 2020, and on our way back, we were flying on the way back when the whole world was shutting down from COVID. Like, we almost got stuck in New Zealand, because the whole world was closing down. The airports were closing down. The concession stands were closing down and giving us free stuff because they were like, COVID is spreading and we don't know what's happening. And anyways, we got to the San Francisco airport and we went through immigration and they pulled him out of the line.
They did?
Yeah, they pulled him out of the line, and I was like, where are you taking my baby brother? And so I was like standing there waiting for him, and they took him to go ask him questions, and we were on our way to go pick up our luggage, and the immigration officers were like, carry on. And I was like, oh, he's my brother, and I don't want to leave him. Yeah. And anyways, I got permission to stay by one of them, but then another officer didn't know that, and anyways, he got mad at me and started yelling at me, and then I started crying. And anyways, but they held him for like half an hour asking him questions, and I was like confident because we've lived here in America for almost 40 years, and so I was like, boy knows how to use his words and to clarify, and you know, that we're not hiding anything, we haven't done anything illegal, but it was still concerning. You know, it's never like, oh yeah, things are just fine when you get pulled over by any kind of officer. So that was for me another big motivator of just wanting my brother to have citizenship, because when you have citizenship, and maybe Americans don't know this, but we can then apply for an American passport, a U.S. United States passport, and when we go through the immigration line, you don't get pulled out like that. You know, they're not questioned, they're not suspected for wrongdoing, and that was actually very angering for me, because he's so kind and loving. I mean, his sisters are the ones that are the agitators, not him. And the fact that they were pulling him out of line just put another fire under my belly. And so when he applied and got his interview for citizenship, we were all just like, ooh, okay, the baby, one of the last babies in the family, finally has a citizenship. We all have our citizenships, and we're okay.
Yeah. And I think for me, that was my biggest reason why, is because I think that in itself, that time where I was pulled, I mean, Tia was probably more, frantic than I was, because, as I said before, I'm pretty, complacent when it comes to that stuff. So I was just relaxed.
Chill.
I was chill.
Pretty chill.
Chill.
House of Manasseh.
So I was just like, oh, okay, it happens. And when I came out and I saw her crying, and it was for other reasons too, but it actually lit that fire under me, I guess you could say, for me to want to get that, because at some point in time, like, most of my family is here now in the US. And if by any reason why they could deport me back to Tonga, because my family, I do have family there, but not immediate family, that would be something pretty devastating. To have that happen. And I wanted to make sure that my connections were still, with my family here. And not only that, but to also have that connection open there. So that was a big drive for me to do that, was to get my citizenship, to be able to also remain with my family, but also be able to visit and to take time in visiting family that's back in the islands as well, without having to cross through that potential red tape that could present itself when you least expect it.
Can I just bring up something?
Hold on, I just wanted to show. So this is him right there getting his citizenship. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that a cute picture?
Mm-hmm. We were so excited. So a lot of so I've taught U.S. citizenship for a couple of years, and I often have students that come through that have conflicted feelings of whether or not to become a citizen. And I know that was one of your conflicts, and I'd like you to talk about that. But a lot of Americans don't know, because and maybe it's because you're from here, and people who don't originate from America maybe can have empathy here. But when you come from another motherland, when you come and are born out of another soil and another language, other traditions, other foods, languages, it's when you become a citizen of the United States, in the oath of allegiance, we swear to cut all ties with any other countries, all loyalties, and that hurts, because, like what Moni was saying, there's a strong connection of identity and belonging to another place, and we've come here to America of our own free will and choosing, and want to be here, but that's still not a light decision to be made. And so I've had several students who've just battled with that, like, I'm here, but I feel like I'm still a visitor, that I still don't belong here, for whatever reason. And so could you just share your feelings about that?
Well, that was a big part of it, was like your own identity for staying in a place that still, I mean, it shouldn't be foreign, because I've lived here most of my life, right? Like, that's something that should already be like, oh, well, you're pretty much grown up here, and that's, like, I don't understand why you don't feel connected. But maybe it's just, for me, it's always been like a longing for home. and what that is, and even going back to New Zealand and experiencing our time in New Zealand, which is also part of our family as well on our mom's side, since she is from New Zealand. That in itself, just being able to go back, that reconnection of who you are and your family was a big deal, to be able to have that experience and to feel, that connection again in such a place where it's like it's been gone for a while and here it is and I'm reconnected, and it's just easy for me to do that because that's just innately who I am. And so coming here, there is a sense of like or a void or some kind of lack thereof, but it's not a reason why I should not make the effort to become a citizen and to connect with other people and to share what it is that I know and the things that I've been taught growing up. And because a lot of those things that I know and that I've been taught growing up have come from my parents, and just the people that they are is like God-fearing and, family oriented, to be able to drive that in, not drive it in, but to also remember to kind of like guide us and redirect us, is like, this is the reason why we do this. This is our connection to God, but it's also our connection to our family. And why would you not want that, to be able to have that direction already given to us and by people that understand that? And for me, that's familiar. That's what was familiar, and that was what connection was all about to me. And it doesn't have to be something that you always have to, replenish yourself and go back home to do. You can definitely do that here. And I think
love that.
I feel like that is something that you can't just say it's just like, well, I can't do that because I'm not in New Zealand, or I'm not in Tonga, or I'm not in Hawaii. It's where you make it. It really is where you make it, and that maunga or that mo'unga that's within your heart, that's where it is. Like, you decide that. Nobody else decides that for you. And that's why I always wanted to be like, I don't want people to identify me besides me being able to identify myself as who I am, and to know that from this point on, like, this is who I am, and I'm okay with that.
I love that.
Well, and you're so good at that, Moni. You're so good at making home wherever you are. This boy, so I am not social. She is not social.
I am.
Okay.
Very social.
Okay, well. Anyways, this boy takes care of everyone that he's with. And people love him. People, like, we always joke about this, but have you ever met somebody and then they just tell you their whole life story and you're like,
I was just asking how you're doing.
Yeah.
Hi.
Moni just has such a sincere and humble and loving spirit, and people just, oh, hi, my name is so-and-so, and this is where I come from, and this is, just tell their whole life story, and with, all of their heartache and things like that, and he gets so frustrated with it sometimes, but I'm like, Moni, that's because they can feel your aroha, they can feel your love, and I truly believe that that's part of his mana. That's a gift that he has, that he brings people in, and maybe he calls it complacent, but I think it's just another way of just being still and listening and connecting. My sister and I are both very fiery in different ways, and this boy has a different kind of fire, but it's very
grounding.
Yes.
It's very calming. It's very
the things that I'm not. That I'm not as natural at. He helps to balance that out. Moni, can you tell us about the day that you became a U.S. citizen? What was that like?
It was kind of anticlimactic.
Why?
Because I expected it different. Because I remember going
You
to
expected
yours.
the heavens to open.
Yeah, you know,
Angels
just like
to come down and be like,
just be like, bless you,
brother,
bless
you are
you for
now a
joining.
citizen of the United States of America.
So like the sword and the stone, where you have like when he puts his hand on the sword, and you have all the rays coming down.
Well, and it was during COVID,
Yeah.
so we couldn't go into the ceremony with him. We went to the INS office in Salt Lake. We had to drop him off.
INS meaning?
The Immigration
Naturalization
Services in Salt Lake, and we had to drop him off and sit in the parking lot for our boy.
Wow.
I think it was anticlimactic because I went to T's when she had hers in 2014. In 2014, and it was pre-COVID, obviously, but it was like grandiose. It seemed compared to mine because like there was tons of people. You know, everyone was cheering.
Is that what you were expecting?
I was expecting that because I was just like,
should have got the confetti.
What the heck is this? Like sitting here, like, okay, there was only about 10 or 15 of us that were in there that were getting naturalized.
And at my ceremony, there were over 400 people taking their oath, plus their families. It was in a Bravenel Hall, and the whole hall was packed.
Yeah, if you could compare this to anything, I don't know what it's like to be married in the Heartbreak Hotel or anything like that, like Elvis, in Las Vegas. That's what it kind of felt like to me. Just like, you are now pronounced here. A U.S. citizen.
Did you
okay,
feel
go ahead.
gypped?
And I felt gypped because of that. Like I was upset with it. I was just like, the heck is this? Like, this is all? And it's like, I saw what my sister's ceremony was like. Why can't it be like this? But I obviously for the reasons, like everybody was, in the COVID, during the pandemic, and when we were sitting there, I was just like, wow, this is just so underwhelming and very, but at the same time, I was grateful because like it didn't need a grandiose ceremony. I didn't need like all these kinds of things to happen. I just needed to get the paper that says like, hey, you've been a good citizen and here you are. Now you're part of this country, and you don't have to rescind your right, your other citizenships with the other countries. But that
we can have dual citizenship.
And for me, that was also a big reason why I decided that I wanted to do that, because I didn't want to have to let go of something that is still a part of who I am. Like identity in that way is very important as well. And so I felt like I needed to connect to it this way, regardless. I mean, the guy that was actually doing the ceremony, officiating, he looked like he came out of like a game show host for like this. He had like a blazer on and some jeans on and wearing some Jordans. And it was very boring.
No.
And so when that happened, like he just let it go. Like I was just like, okay, that's it. And then they're like, okay, well now you can go and take a picture out in the back with this with the Statue of Liberty, like little flag thing. And I'm like, I don't want to take a picture with that.
A cardboard.
Yeah, it was like one of the ugliest looking things, and I was just like, I don't want to take a picture with that. I want to take a picture next to the American flag. I want to show people it's just like, this is something important to me because I am now a part of this in such a way where I earned it.
Yeah.
And not only did I earn it, I did it the right way, and I feel good about that. And there's nothing that nobody can take away from me for that.
No. So what have you done since then?
Wait, hold on. I remember you saying that the judge had a half suit on, right? Like, so he had like a jacket. He was wearing a suit jacket and then just shorts and jandals.
No, he wasn't wearing shorts. He was wearing jeans and like Jordans or something like that. I'm like, cool, bro. Like, yeah,
you're like, it's only taken how many years for me to decide to become a citizen of this country.
But as I walked out, like, I was looking back because you had to walk out, and once you walked out, you couldn't go back in from what they said. And so I walked out. They said you can take a picture with that Statue of Liberty thing out there if you want to. And so I walked out there, and I was like, I don't want to take a picture with that. I want to go back in and take a picture with this. And then like, well, you can't come back here. It's like, I'm a citizen now. I can come back here now, and I can take a picture with the flag, as I should. And they were like, oh, yeah, I guess, it's not a big deal. It's like, of course it's not a big deal. There's only 10 people in here. So,
That's
but yeah.
funny.
It was kind of, it's kind of anticlimactic.
Congratulations, felicitaciones.
But other than that, like, I've been able to vote. I've been able to see things in a different light. I'm gonna be able to get my American passport here soon. To be able to fly out of the country now.
Yeah, immigration.
Yeah.
Huh? Try to
Yeah.
pull them out of the line
Sup,
now.
immigration.
Huh?
So
Learn your own history, huh?
Meanwhile, I have already had mine. I've had mine. And I don't go
lucky
anywhere.
for you. Yeah, but that's been
That's
my story.
awesome. Sorry, also, I didn't mean to be falling asleep.
They haven't had much sleep since.
We just ran our half marathon this morning.
And it's had like barely an hour
and
each.
we still stink, so.
Yeah, I need a shower.
I wanted to, we wanted to, bring in just ordinary citizens to talk about how they have connected with government, with liberty, with freedom in their own lives. And our brother was coming over this weekend, and I was over this weekend at our sister's house, and we really wanted to just share his story of what it's like to become a citizen of the United States of America. What are you laughing at?
I'm just laughing that I was asleep.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So what do you have anything to say to those who are considering citizenship? Because we got lots of fam bam who feel the same way, who are like, no, we will be permanent residents forever and never become U.S. citizens. So what are the blessings of becoming a United States citizen for you?
For me, it's just what I talked about before. It's just being able to stay connected with your family, and you don't have to give up those your citizenships from your home countries. That is their property. That is their right to keep that, and that's not something that they can change. But for me, the biggest part about that makes the big difference is if you have family here and you have those that are loved ones that need you, it's for me, it means everything to you to have that, and to know that you have that security, to know that you can always travel back and forth. You have a say, you matter. And those things are more important to me than anything else at this time. Just considering that when you have the connections with your family, my family means everything to me. And that's more reasons why that I wanted to become a citizen. Not for anything else, like for cultural things, for, national things or things like that. Like that's important too. But when it comes down to it, it's the connections that you have within your immediate home and those around you, and just the way that you are able to carry those. And maybe that's a journey that you need to understand and come to understand on your own. However that is, if you decide to make the decision to do it or not. I just waited because I didn't realize that early enough. But I mean, I've always known that, but that incident that T was talking about, or that time experience, was probably the one that opened my eyes the most. And I was already on my way there, but that just kind of pushed it over the edge, and like, it's time to go. It's time to make that to make moves. Yeah.
I want to ask you the question with what you started with identity and belonging. So I really struggled with trying to. So when I became a citizen, I felt like I was betraying my own homeland by, severing loyalties to where I come from and to where I belong. And I went to battle with, could I still be Maori? Could I still be Tongan? And could I also be an American? And what has been your experience with, like, what does it mean to be an American to you? And can you still honor who you are and where you come from at the same time? Because I feel like sometimes it feels like you have to choose between them, where I'm like, well, what if all of them just mean being kind, taking care of the people around you, being honest, being humble, working hard? Like, that's what it means to be American. That's what it means to be Tongan. That's what it means to be Maori. Can you just share your feelings on that?
I think it's important for you to have that sense of identity, regardless of where you come from. But as I mentioned before, like for me, it's never been somebody else to identify who I am, but only for me to do so. However that is, whether you're Tongan, whether you're Maori, whether you're, Latino, whether you're whatever it might be, or even American, like those parts of your identity are parts of you. It doesn't define the whole of who you are, though. Those kinds of things are important to always remember, but it doesn't mean that that's your entire being. Like, because there are parts of you that, that play into other areas of your life that are not just going to be defined by that, but it's going to be defined by other things. And they're just a part of the whole construct of where we are, like who we are as people, as humans and stuff, that where we can come to understand more about like our purpose, and that to me is the true identity. It's just like a gathering of all those different things and those pieces and bringing them together, and being like who you feel that you are, not who anybody else feels that you are.
I love that.
So,
Love that, Moni.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Thank you for sharing and sitting with us, Moni.
yeah, they're so tired.
Very tired.
Hey, thanks.
But really grateful to have you with us, and that, I don't know. I mean, like, I remember even posting about it on social media when he became a citizen. Like, our family is finally an American family. And not in a finally we've Americans, but we now live the American dream of debt and taxes and all of those wonderful things. But there's so much good about this great country.
Yeah.
And
it means something different. Like Moni said, he had to earn that. And so when it comes to voting, when it comes to vetting, when it comes to even the American flag, it touches our hearts in a different way. Because we've just had to go to battle with whether or not we really wanted her. And now, I mean, at least for me, there are no questions. I love this country with all of its imperfections. And I want to fight for her just like I want to fight for New Zealand, just like I want to fight for Tonga, just like I want to fight for my family.
Yeah.
You too, Mon?
Exactly the same, yeah. Yep. And because you two on my side, I don't have a choice.
Sorry, Moni.
But I do love my sisters because they are definitely what you see is what you get, and honest and true.
Oh, I love you, bro.
I love you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Ka kite ano, o whalahi atu.
Ka kite ano o whalahi atu.